Hey, what's going on, y'all? Welcome to a new episode of the Late Night Lake Show podcast, powered by 19 Media Group. It is your host, Ricky, and I got my family with me, baby. You know how we do in Late Night Lake Show. Every now and again, we got to pull in our Late Night Lake Show family and some of our favorite friends of the show on the timeline. We got all of our friendly faces here in the building to talk about the NBA season that is upon us. We did a little NBA survey, preseason survey, answering our top 10 burning questions heading into the season. It's going to be a roundtable discussion, and I'm really excited to introduce our guest for today. Representing Late Night Lake Show family, we got our boys, the normal crew, right? We got Omar, we got Kwame, we got Guru, we got Stace. How y'all doing tonight, my boys? And Stace, my girl.
Good. This is gonna be fun.
Yeah, glad to be here. I missed last year's, but I'm glad to be here for this one. So it'll be fun.
Excited for this. This is gonna be fun.
Oh, I see you got the haircut just for this, so I appreciate you coming through and looking all beautified, man. Appreciate y'all stopping in. Our friends of the show, we would be nothing without our friends of Late Night Lake Show. I haven't talked to my man Raj in, I don't know, this time last year when it was all doom and gloom outside. Raj, baby, it's a new day, it's a new world, it's a new season. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well, man. Last year, I think I was begging for Kyrie Irving. So, I'm not proud of that. I'm past that. But yeah, new season coming. Football ends in like 4 days. So I don't want to see any more football tweets in like 4 more days. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I mean, if it's going to be Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce content, yeah, football can end in 4 days. I'm a Bears fan, so I think the season's already over. We'll see this Thursday if we can go ahead and just kill them off. Oh, yeah. NFC North, Brothers of Pain.
We're in the same boat. We're not a single paddle, bro.
Yeah, nothing. Appreciate you, Raj, for sliding through and helping us out tonight. EP, man, me and EP been talking to the side, and we've just been talking about how much fun we've been having on these house party shows, and I'm happy, man, you're able to slide through this season. How you doing tonight, my man?
I'm doing great, man. I'm excited for the season, man. My football team ain't doing too well either. We did beat the Bears, but that's about all I got. So,
woo, all right.
Hey, listen. We commiserating together. I want to get to the Lakers too.
I hear you, bro. Appreciate you sliding through, man. And then I had to bring in one of the jefes of 19 Media Group, my man Warren Shaw, who is fresh off of a Jimmy Butler Media Day experience. Warren, how you doing tonight, man?
This is a wild experience for me going to Media Day as a Celtics fan, and now behind enemy lines. I didn't know you would set me up like this. It's like squad, but it's cool. It's cool. I'm gonna keep it cute as my daughter says. So yeah. But I'm happy to be here, family. I appreciate you.
Absolutely, man. It's always love having you come through. We've been trying to get Warren on for a little bit, obviously covering the Celtics, having access and a lot of insight for the Miami Heat. So love and appreciate his perspective as always. Family, we're going to get into it, man. We have a roundtable discussion. I'm going to be done with all the chit chat, and I'm going to pass this off to Stace. She will be conducting our roundtable, and I can't wait to dive in. So let's get into it.
All right, fellas. So for our first question of the NBA season roundtable discussion, we went with which team, excluding your favorite or the one that you cover, are you the most excited to watch for this upcoming season? I want to kick it to Raj to start this one off.
All right, yeah. So my favorite non-Laker forever has been Dame. I'm glad I get to root for him not root for him, but like see him in a different conference on another team. And I'm excited to watch Milwaukee just as a basketball fan, like watch what him and Giannis can do. And I feel like people have kind of galaxy brain them as a pairing, but that's the team I want to watch. How you guard. And if you go listen to Giannis at Media Day, like he was very intricate with like the details on like their pick and roll game. I just want to see how they do. And they have a new coach as well, coaching. I forgot the name of their coach, but I'm excited to watch him and Giannis just like destroy, a Eastern Conference where Boston just got better as well. So Milwaukee's my pick for who I'm most excited to watch, other than the Lakers.
Okay, all right, EP, how about you?
It's probably not going to be a popular answer, but I'm actually excited to see the Pelicans play. Zion looks to be in shape, and we've not really seen a large sample size of Zion Williamson and Brandon Ingram and CJ McCollum together. So I'm interested to see what that looks like. I still think they're a couple years away from making like real noise in the West, but I do think that if they stay healthy and Zion is actually focused and got the Mariah Mills in the background, and he's focused and he's focused. I think the Pelicans are easily a 6-7 seed at least. It could be higher, because if you look at the small sample sizes of when Zion was healthy, like they were tough, right? Because you really can't stop the dude. So I'm interested to see what they look like if they can get 65 games out of him.
Okay. Guru, I want you to share your take on this question because I know that you actually had a very spicy answer for this question. So
we just started, man.
What's your take for that one?
Non-favorite team I'm most looking forward to watch is, I have to say, the OKC Thunder. I feel like they have one of the best young cores in the league. You got SGA right there coming off a career season. He's been unstoppable for about 2 years straight now. And then, it gets interesting. You got the Jalen brothers over there. You got Josh Giddey's, coming into his own. They have size, they have length. And let's just say if there was an MVP all-star caliber center in the East Coast that became available for a trade, I don't think there's a better team positioned to acquire such an individual other than OKC. You could dangle Chet. They have the contracts with Davis Bertans to get to such a player who we won't mention. He can be left unnamed. If you know, you know.
But what if we don't know? What if we don't know?
I mean, James Harden showed up to camp today, but I don't want to digress.
Does his name rhyme with Take Heed?
I don't know. I mean, that sounds interesting. I don't know. I don't want to get too crazy. They're a well-positioned team, and I think with or without any major acquisition, I think they're going to be fun to watch.
Okay. I'm surprised you guys didn't mention the Houston Rockets with Ime over there, and aren't you guys kind of curious?
Dylan Brooks is there. The only thing I'm interested about is in Houston is how many strip clubs Ime hits. The actual team. I mean, Dylan Brooks is a starter, so what I know is they're gonna play fast. A lot of fast breaks, and he's going to throw up a lot of bricks. I'm more interested in what Ime does off the court as opposed to on the court. Like, how many front office women is he going to tap into?
Oh, my God.
How many strip clubs is he going to hit? Like, that's more intriguing to me. But the question, I assume, is about on the court. So if you just said off the court, I would have said Houston for sure.
Okay.
I don't know anything about that. But, I do like Jabari Smith Jr. I do like him. I want to see his year, too. I think it's weird they paid Fred VanVleet $40 million. I think that makes no sense. But kind of like the opposite route they took. Most teams just tear it all down, and they're like, no, let's get some few vets in here. Again, Dylan Brooks is not worth $20 million. But yeah, I guess Ime Udoka is an interesting coach for sure to follow along.
Yeah, I mean, well, before all of that stuff came out, I mean, he was seen as someone that can galvanize the troops and, get everyone together. So we'll see if that actually applies to this team and without the outside antics. So, yeah.
He galvanizes the troops, all right. Ime Udoka definitely brings people together.
Okay.
Sure.
So let's see now. Okay, so let's go to the next question here. Which NBA team has the most at stake this season? I want to shoot it to you, Rick, to start off.
Yeah, I mean, not to be a homer, because this is for reasons that aren't the greatest, right? I think it has to be the Lakers, in my opinion. And it's simply because LeBron James is another year older, another year going towards the sunset. We don't know how close he is to that sunset, right, as far as the end of his career. But you got to look at this roster and say that this is the best shot that they have at a championship as they've had in the LeBron AD era, right? Their first season together, they win a championship in the hardest, environment season in NBA history in the bubble, right? And then they have flipped the roster every single season except for this past summer. And they got stronger, they got bigger, they got longer. There's a pause somewhere in there, but the Lakers just really encouraged themselves to, run it back with what they know is successful. So I got to say that it is our Los Angeles Lakers that need to make a very, very deep run this season because we want LeBron to ride off into the sunset on a happy note and not because he's being carried out on his shield.
For sure. Warren, what say you?
Well, to be a homer in this situation, my team is going to be the Boston Celtics, I think, for this question. And had they not just made the move for Drew Holiday, I might have put them to the back of the line a little bit. But all chips are in. They traded Grant Williams. They traded Robert Williams. So Grant Williams signed, but he's gone. Robert Williams is gone. Malcolm Brogdon is gone. Marcus Smart is gone. For Porzingis and Drew Holiday. Payroll now over $200 million this year. Taxpayer, the whole thing, the shebang is wild in Boston right now. We're 2 years removed from trying to break up the Jays. So you've done everything you can to make this team championship contenders. They have the absolute most to lose in this situation. Bringing in, Brookfoot, Kristaps Porzingis, and I like them, but we got some issues there.
Right.
Everything, all chips are in Boston. I don't see how they are not the team that everybody would pick in this situation, especially with that payroll.
Kwame?
Originally, I think I'd put down the Milwaukee Bucks just due to the Dame trade, pairing him with Giannis, Dame and his tough summer breakup with the Portland Trail Blazers and, the expectations. But honestly, I'm going to go with the answer that I want to see, that I think the team has the most at stake. And I'm going to go with the Golden State Warriors, man. They went out there, they traded for Chris Paul. They all the big three say that they're still able to compete for championships, and they think they can get Chris Paul his first ring. Their fans for sure did not believe their dynasty was dead when the Lakers took them out last year in the playoffs. We claim that the dynasty is dead, but they think otherwise. They added, future Hall of Famer Chris Paul to their team. Not quite sure how it's going to work on paper. We're getting reports saying Steve Kerr is going to have Klay Thompson guard power forward. So, it's an interesting thing over there in Golden State, but the dynasty really could be dead if they flop this year. So it might really be over. So that's kind of where I'm going to go with. I'm going to go with the Golden State Warriors for this one.
Random question though. Do you think Draymond will retire a Warrior? Super random, but
good question.
I mean,
just wondering.
Why not at this point? I think he's kind of going with the ship, and I think the ship is him and Klay and Steph. And I think they're, from the moves that they've made, they're moving away and away and away from the Warriors rebooting and reloading of the future. And it's like, let's try to do as much as we can for right now, but we'll see. Chris Paul, that money comes off the Bucks, and that's a very big number in their salary. So who knows what they have plans for flipping that contract next season. But I think Draymond getting Jordan Poole up out of here was a nod to we are invested in Draymond for the entirety of his career.
Definitely.
I'll say one thing on that. That probably had a stronger chance of sticking had Bob Myers not left. Dunleavy is new. What does he care? He's got to make his own legacy. So I think if there was going to be a shift, I think it would be now, because Dunleavy is now the general manager in that situation. Just food for thought.
Very good point.
Okay. Actually, before we go to the next question, Warren, I have just a quick question for you. What did you think about them trading Robert Williams? Because I actually was really shocked that they moved him, because I just find him to be super valuable. And especially now, as far as paint protection and that sort of thing. What did you think when you first heard that they were moving him?
It's when you have to give to get, right? But they were not going to accept Sam Hauser and Peyton Pritchard and all these cobbling of other players to kind of get it done. But losing Rob for Boston is significant. And now you're going after your old guys, and Gabriel, and bringing him into camp, to try to be the replacement big, that energy guy who can rebound and play some defense. But Rob, it's tough. He meant a lot to what Boston did, especially defensively. And when I saw that he was a part of the deal, it took a little piece of me, but I understood it because, again, to get a guy like Drew Holiday's caliber, you have to give to get. But it's a great question. Yeah, but it was tough as a Celtics fan for sure.
All right. So let's see. Okay. So third question. So what's one overlooked storyline to watch for this upcoming season?
So I think the one that I'm most interested in is the Brooklyn Nets. If Ben Simmons can return to all-star form, I think the Nets are very interesting, right? I think they have more pieces than people really consider, and Ben Simmons is an all-star glue guy. So that's one that I'm kind of keeping my eye on because nobody's really talking about the Nets. And look, we don't have high expectations of Ben Simmons because he doesn't show up and he'll say, my neck and my back and, all that good stuff. I get it. But if for some reason he's found his love for hooping again and he's the Ben Simmons that, we thought he was going to be or the trajectory he was on, the Nets are intriguing. And I'm interested to see that. I'm interested to see if Ben rounds into form. He says he loves ball. He's found his love again. He says he's in good shape. He says he's healthy. They're moving him back to the point, which is where he should be. Like they should have never tried. Steve Nash should have never tried to put him at center. He's not a center. So if you letting him just wheel and deal and do what he does and be a triple-double machine, they got a lot of wings. They got shooters. I'm interested. Sign me up. And plus, they're in the East, and we ain't got to deal with them.
Okay. Omar, what about you?
For me, it's the Toronto Raptors. I feel like it's time, Masai Ujiri. I think it's time for you to look in the mirror and pick a spot, pick where you need to be. Right? There's been so many deals where they've been rumored. Right? They were rumored to potentially come out of nowhere and take Dame, but the Masai is at a point where you're either building for the future and building the future around Scotty Barnes, or you have a lot of these aging. I wouldn't say they're so aging, but you have Pascal Siakam who's coming into camp without an extension. There's no negotiations there regarding his foreseeable future. In addition to that, there's a new coach. You let go Nick Nurse, the old regime there. So I feel like there's a point where the Toronto Raptors need to figure out where they need to be. And I feel like, a lot of people aren't really talking about that.
Good point. Yeah. Rick.
I'm here for any Barnes taking over franchises. I'm a big fan of Scotty representing. So shout out to him. Man, okay. So talk about it's time. New Orleans, step up. You are now in the crosshairs of your franchise. What direction are you going to go? Is it door number one, Brandon Ingram with one more year left on his deal, making, 33 million US dollars, 36 million US dollars next season, then is a unrestricted free agent. Oh, that's juicy in NBA rumor terms, right? Hell, BI technically could get traded this year if shit goes south, right? That's a big story to follow. Zion, what a summer that this man has had. Got good for him for surviving and thriving. Looks like he has not shied away from, what EP was talking about earlier. But I think that Zion is one of the most kind of jarring players to watch live. And like when he is healthy and he's on his game, he really doesn't make sense, right? Your eyes are looking at somebody that size with moving with that much ferocity and agility. And you're like, well, it makes sense why his body can't stay healthy. You know what I'm saying? So I just think in totality, CJ McCollum being your highest paid player on the team, that's not going to make anything move, baby. So, interested to see how the, New Orleans Pelicans, who clearly won the Anthony Davis trade, right? I'm interested to see how they're going to reload this franchise once they realize that they aren't going to be competing anytime soon.
Okay, so Kwame kind of got me thinking about this as far as like an overlooked storyline. I don't know. But especially once Draymond actually comes back from injury. But what about that, right? That storyline with how
I was just gonna ask, can I have an honorable
Chris
mention?
Paul, right? Like how all of them are gonna mesh. Are you guys curious to like see how that's gonna work?
I was just gonna say, could we have an honorable mention? And I was gonna say, Draymond Green and Chris Paul in the same locker room is gold, right? Like
Who's gonna punch who first?
exact. Well, so Dre's gonna throw the first punch. The thing is, I don't think Chris Paul is gonna just go to sleep like a sucker. Though. Like I think Chris Paul is gonna bite an ankle on the way down or something. Like he's not.
He took a Rondo.
He took a
Rondo
Rondo,
quick
yeah.
little jab. So
That's what I'm saying. Like Jordan Poole just sleep. Remember in the cartoons back in the day, he used to slide down the steps like a slinky. Like Jordan Poole he went out like a sucker. Like Chris Paul is going to bite a kneecap or something on the way down to his neck. Like he's not just going straight down. So I'm interested to see when those two get into it, what it looks like, because it's gonna happen.
The Late Night Lake Show podcast is sponsored by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best legal way to play daily fantasy player props in states like California, New York, Texas, and more. You pick 2 to 5 players and an over-under on their projections, and you can win up to 10 times on any entry. The best part is you can mix players from different sports. You could take the over on LeBron combined with the under on Mahomes in the same entry. Prize Picks is the easiest way to play daily fantasy because it's just you versus the projected numbers. Just use our promo code LNLS and any deposit you make can receive 100% instant deposit match up to $100. So go support the brand and go win you some money. It's the best of both worlds. Again, use our promo code LNLS. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm very curious to see how that's going to go. Okay, so let's see. Let's go to our next question. Who's your preseason MVP pick? Warren, I want you to start out this question.
So mine's a little bit boring. I think we all know the MVP is always about narrative. And at this point, narrative is probably going to shift back a little bit to somebody who's already won the award. Giannis has a great opportunity. Joel Embiid, I think maybe has some things on his side, with the James Harden situation going on, but I'm actually going to go with Jokic. I just think Denver trying to repeat in a very, very much reloaded Western Conference has him giving the narrative while all these other teams have retooled and have, I'd say, super elite players alongside him. And no disrespect to Jamal Murray, he's still yet to make an all-star team, and that could change this year. So depending how the Embiid situation goes, over there with James Harden, he could be right up there with him. But to me, Jokic has everything going for him because his team will still be elite, and he doesn't have like another super elite guy with him, riding with him. I think that narrative is going to skew his way.
Okay. Guru?
Yeah, appreciate it, Stacey. I think the it shifts to our good future Laker brother over there with you, Warren, Jason Tatum. And we got to sneak it in when we can. I think it shifts over to Mr. Tatum. I mean, the guy's kind of been averaging 30 in his sleep for a while now, right? And then what happens when you add a Kristaps Porzingis or a Drew Holiday? I mean, they've had firepower, but these players carry a little bit more cachet. And so I think things kind of that'll open up the floor. I just think he'll be on a mission, to be honest. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets up to, like 32, 33 a game this season. I think right now he proved in the playoffs he was scoring pretty effortlessly. And, as a Lakers fan, I got a knot like in my stomach as I'm saying this, but that being said, it's a harsh reality. I think the NBA is literally salivating, and I think media and everybody will kind of favor Jason Tatum and he'll get the nod.
Raj?
Yeah, you named a Celtic for MVP. I can't believe that. No, my pick, I thought about this one hard. I did think about Tatum, but my pick is Devin Booker. I just think I think it's time for him. He's 26 years old in the prime of his career, averaged 28 a game last year. I think he'll be above 30 because the Suns need it. I just don't think they're going to guard anyone. I hated the Ayton trade. So I think like Nurkic next to those guys are just going to score a ton of points. He just got his first signature shoe deal. So the book 1, I believe, just came out as well. Like I could see it kind of coalescing for him. And I think they're going to need him to score. I just think like that defense is going to be terrible. Kevin Durant, last 2 years, games played. He played 47 games last year, 55 games the year before. I think he's going to get hurt in some. I'm not wishing for him to get hurt, but I just think like you have to kind of bake in Kevin Durant missing games. Bradley Beal's a new guy. I'm sure he'll kind of average his 20, but I think Booker's going to average 30 this year under our good friend Frank Vogel and the coaches that they took from us. But yeah, I have Devin Booker as the MVP. I think the Suns are going to win a ton of regular season games and flame out masterfully in the playoffs. But I think they're going to be awesome in the regular season.
Kwame?
For me, honestly, my personal pick. I have personal pick. I've been clamoring for Luka Doncic to be MVP for like 3 seasons now, shamelessly. But unfortunately, to Warren's point that he made earlier, it's narratives, and I don't think the Mavericks will have the narrative to carry him to an MVP. So I'm going to side with Guru here and say Jason Tatum. I think the narrative fits with him. I think they have the roster that's been constructed for him. He was very much in the conversation early last season. Then he kind of fell off. Didn't really sit in it as long towards the end of the season as the Celtics sputtered a little bit, but I think the table's completely set for him. Championship expectations are higher than ever. I really can't see how, unless the Celtics have a complete flame out, if they have a top 2-3 record in the league, I can really see how the narrative pushes Jason Tatum over the top and he wins his first MVP.
I feel like we're talking voter fatigue here, kind of just taking over.
Y'all realize Tatum's not a Laker yet, right? Like he's not here yet. Like it's not 2020.
And there's a Laker goddamn podcast. We realize we can't be doing all this shit. I invited Warren over to try to get some civility in here, and now we just really just licking boots.
Hey man, I gave my personal pick.
Hey, I think there's a lot of fatigue with the other. The big guys, with the big dogs.
Jokic can't win 3 MVPs.
No way. No, that'd be rarefied air if Jokic wins 3. They won't let
I'm surprised, especially because most of you guys give me so much unfair criticism or grief about this player, but I'm so shocked that not one of you guys mentioned AD, Anthony Davis, as I don't know, why couldn't he be mentioned as a possible MVP pick? Someone that has a whole lot to prove, that has stated this, working very hard this offseason, doing different things, different things as part of his training regimen.
I checked my toxicity at the door.
What's that about? I'm just curious.
I thought we were checking the toxicity at the door.
No, AD was my choice though. I think seriously, I think all the stars aligned for him because all right, so we know defensively what he's gonna do, right? We know he's gonna be a top 1, 2, 3 defensive player in the league, but the team around him changes everything for him offensively. The spacing that he's gonna have. The fact that he's not going to have to do everything protecting the rim with this roster, should keep him fresher. If you say 1920, the title year was the closest we've probably seen AD to an MVP, he should be better this year. This is even better roster collectively than that team. So I'm on the AD train for potential MVP. And like you said, if you had the voter fatigue and there are very few narratives greater than the Lakers, right? We're always going to be in the news cycle. There's always going to be something around him. I think Bron is going to take a step back this year by default, not because he wants to, but because the dude's about to be 39. At some point, I think the playoff Bron, even though he'll be more explosive, I think playoff Bron is more what we're going to say this year. I think he wants to do more playmaking and kind of come back. He's getting older, and these injuries are piling up, and I don't think he wants to keep rehabbing. So that allows AD to really take front and center.
Sadly, the Lakers don't win awards, though. So
I was going to say
the media does not like us
the
enough.
fact that he's a Laker.
Okay,
And that's fair, but
is that what
but
we're saying?
that's
It's
fair.
more
But
about that.
the narratives are gonna be so strong, man. I don't know.
I think if it's
Raj,
a
what do you
tie,
think?
though, if it's a tie, votes go to LeBron. Is how I see it. Like, so if they
I
have a
don't think
chance,
Brown's gonna be in the running.
well, if the Lakers are a 1 seed, right? So to get the MVP, you probably have to be a 1 or 2 seed. So in that case, like LeBron and AD played a significant amount of games together. I just think like in that case, LeBron and AD would take both from each other. Also, AD is not the offensive type of engine that gets some volume shots up to me enough to like be in that conversation where he's going to average 30 or something like that.
You know what you got to consider though, right? Here's the thing about AD, and I think people overlook this, right? This man played like half the season last year and led the league in 35 and 15 games. So if we can get like 65, 70 games out of him, he's going to have
Yeah.
so many of those that it'll almost be overwhelming because he had more than anybody else in half the season, right? So those 40 and 20 games, he puts up a lot of those, like in short sample sizes. You know what I mean? So I think he's going to have a really compelling argument combined with what he does defensively. It's funny she mentioned that because that was actually my pick was AD.
I'd rather him get a Finals MVP. I'm good on
Me too.
the regular
Me
one.
too.
Let him get a Finals one. I'm good.
No, that's fair. Okay, so let's go to our next question. So, who will finish with the worst NBA record this season? Let's go to, I think it's only right for this question. Let's start with Guru for this one.
What do you mean by that?
Well, I think it's obvious.
Hit him with the Zion.
So this is a quick and easy one. I think the Spurs finished with the worst record. I expect a rough year for brother Wembanyama. I'm looking at. I mean, they just maxed out Devin Vassell. That's chapter 4, 5, 6, and 7. But I'm expecting around 23 wins for the Spurs or under. I'm taking the under on 23 wins, and I think the Wembanyama will probably play about 50 to 55 games. He's not ready, in my opinion. He's still a big question mark with his frame and what everything we've seen so far. Has suggested that the Spurs will be very careful with him as he continues to kind of fill out. And some people may hate this take, but I think the Spurs will be right back in the running for another top 3. I think that's their plan. I think it's very much their plan to be back in the running for a top 3, top 4 pick in June's NBA draft to pair with him going forward, and Devin Vassell, of course.
Okay. Oh, what's your take?
That's actually interesting. I like that perspective, Guru. I went with the Washington Wizards. I think their starting backcourt of Tyus Jones and Jordan Poole is going to be absolutely food. Their starting center currently is Mike Muscala, who our dear friend who could not hit a single 3-pointer when he played for us in Staples Center. They do have Daniel Gafford, but he's out, I think, like 2-4 weeks, so he's not going to be starting the season. I do hope and pray for our dear friend Kyle Kuzma. Maybe he's available at the trade deadline. But man, this roster is really stinky. They have Corey Kispert as their starting small forward. He's not a really good player. Landry Shamet broke his toe doing God knows what in the offseason. I'm not that high on this.
Hey, he called him stinky. That threw me off.
That's what
This was elite slander.
Yo, he called him stinky.
Raj, what say you?
Oh man, why do we gotta talk about terrible teams? No, but my team is one I think people forget is in the league still. The Charlotte Hornets. I watched a ton of their guys in summer league, and like they had year 3. Kai Jones, who needs a better agent, but like was terrible in summer league in like year 2. LaMelo Ball just got $200 million. I doubt he is very motivated to lead this team this year. Gordon Hayward, I'm sure will find a reason not to play. Terry Rozier, I'm sure will be moved. Their draft picks, all like James Bouknight was their lottery pick last year. He got outplayed by every guard in this year's summer league. I don't think they're a real basketball team. Mitch Kupchak is going to bed at 8 p.m. I don't think he has any idea what's going on with his team. So the Charlotte Hornets are going to win like 12 games this year.
You don't think the rapping what's his name, Miles Bridges? You don't think he's gonna make a difference?
Man, he should not be on. I don't know what he's doing still on their team, but yeah, I don't
Rapping?
think so. Yeah, him, Miles Bridges. Yeah, they paid PJ Washington. I like him, but other than that, I think they're gonna be awful this year. So they'll get another high pick that's terrible next year again. So we'll see.
EP.
I think the Pistons, because I don't know what they did to improve from being the worst team last year. Like I don't know what they did differently that makes them, like if they're just relying on the players who sucked last year sucking less this year, then I mean I guess, but I don't know. Like somebody needs to tell me why the Pistons are going to be any better this year than last year. I mean, they won 17 last year. They may win 20 this year. Like I still think they suck. So I think I expect them to suck again.
They should get Cade back. I think that was the biggest difference for them.
Who?
He played 12
Cade
games
Cunningham.
last year. Cade.
All right. So he's worth about 3-4. He's worth about 4 million. So 21. Like the Pistons are going to be ass. I promise you. Like they'll play some games close, because like everything, like Detroit's like. For any of us that have been to Detroit, like Detroit's the kind of place like you just want to get out, you want to get in and get out, like you don't want to be there long. So they'll play teams close at home because you don't feel like being there, and then like they'll be close to 3 quarters and the fourth. Like, all right, let's wrap this up and get out of here. So yeah, they're gonna suck. They're gonna suck for a while.
Wow. Okay. So wait, let's switch up the vibe here. Let's go from let's come off the worst team and let's talk about who we think will have the best NBA regular season record for this upcoming season. Warren, go ahead.
So because the West is as loaded as it is, I think it's just going to be hard for the Western Conference team to have the best record in the NBA. So that obviously leads to the Eastern Conference, where the 2 top teams are Philadelphia, my God, Milwaukee and Boston, right? And at this stage, while I'm a Celtics fan, I'm concerned about all the turnover and maybe a slow start. Again, Mazzulla still kind of getting his chops there, but new coach in Milwaukee as well too. But everything about Giannis has gone his way, especially with the Dame stuff. But he said at the end of last year, he was like, this wasn't a failure. Everything he said since then indicated last year was a failure. So I think he's coming out like gangbusters with Dame to ride all the way out. They just had the best chance. The East isn't as loaded as the Western Conference is. And if Boston is just their only competition, I'm going to give the Bucks the edge to have the best regular season record by virtue of that alone.
Okay. Rick?
I don't disagree with Warren. I mean, I plan on hitting a couple of Bucks games, only being about an hour, 10 minutes away. They're going to be must-see TV. I think Dame, new team, higher level of motivation, right? As motivated as he can be. He had to have known going into the last few years with the Blazers that they weren't going very far as their ceiling for the season. So he knows that new team, this is his opportunity to really establish his legacy going forward, besides the moments of waving Paul George goodbye, right? So I think Dame is going to step up and kind of also show Giannis that this is going to be the best duo, the new version, right, of a small and a big, like Shaq and Kobe back in the day. The pick and roll is going to be nasty. We've all talked about it, right? I can't wait to see it on the court, man. And I think hopefully Chris Middleton can stay healthy during the season. Brook Lopez can stay healthy during the season. We miss Brook over here in LA. We always have. Wish he never left. But I'm here for the Bucks. But to Warren's point, new head coach, there's going to be a learning curve. We should know that very well over here in Laker Nation. So we'll see how that shakes out.
So real quick, let me just ask this, since both of you guys mentioned the Bucks. So do you feel, I mean, I guess maybe you do, since you mentioned the pick and roll action that is anticipated for this season. But so you guys feel like Dame's individual game and Giannis's individual game complement each other? Yeah, I don't necessarily think of pick and roll with Dame though, for some reason, but just wanted to hear your thoughts on that as far as how they complement one another.
Yeah, I'll just say quickly. I mean, I think they do, and just because of the gravity Dame brings from the outside as well too. Okay. So you have to honor whatever he's doing wherever he's at, and that just allows Giannis to get downhill. And he's still a capable creator himself as he's rolling to the basket. So to me, that's what it is. You cannot sag. You could sag off of Drew Holiday and say, "All right, go ahead, bro. You know, whatever." Like I said, he still shot it well, but it's nothing like having the gravity that Damian Lillard brings. And I think again, playing with that, and he played decent even pick and roll with even Nurkic. So imagine Giannis. So that's where I'm on it as well too. Ricky, what about you, fam?
Man, I'm just imagining, because you know where you got to pick Dame up before it's dangerous time and him to just pull up and shoot it. And I'm just imagining, right, Giannis running up halfway between the that 3-point line and in the half court, setting a screen, and then them blitzing Dame. And now you have Giannis playing 3-on-2 with a full head of steam from the 3-point line. That's Drake and laugh now, cry later, looking at KD driving down the hoop, man. It would not be happy endings for whoever is stuck under the basket. And there's not enough rim protectors in the league that I could say, oh, well, Giannis is gonna, he's gonna take his bumps and bruises throughout the year, because at the end of the day, he's one of the better screen setters in the league, and he is absolutely jacked. So, I think it's gonna be dangerous.
Okay. What say you, Oh?
Just overall question or that same question you had?
Well, actually, I would like your opinion on that, and then your overall answer for the question.
Yeah, I have to agree with both of these guys on the Dame and Giannis pick and roll. I think defenses, I think you're helpless. I think you have to pick your poison on what you want to give up, and I don't think you have that many options there. So it's going to be a lethal, tandem, and it's going to be really, really fun to watch just as a basketball fan. I agree with both of you guys. I think it's going to be hard to pick a team out west, so it's definitely got to be East team. I will go with the Boston Celtics since you guys talked about the Bucks. I think when you add Porzingis, and I think when you add Porzingis and Drew Holiday, which is pretty much a replacement for Marcus Smart, I think they won't have to change too much of their offense and their system. I think Joe Mazzulla really, really wants to shoot teams out of the gym, which they do really well already. And you added great players to that offense. And again, if the three ball doesn't fall their way, I think they have the good combination of size, length, and defensive on the perimeter to keep them in games. So it's going to be really hard to beat them in the regular season.
Can I just say this is turning out to be a much more pleasurable experience than I expected. So thank you for your hospitality.
Oh my God.
And real quick, Omar, I just want to say thank you for falling on the sword, because my actual answer was the Boston Celtics, but I couldn't say it first. So thank you for saying it, and I don't disagree for the same reasons. All right, I'm done.
All right, so let's go to this next question, because I'm actually pretty excited about this next one. So, who is most likely to be a first-time All-Star during the upcoming season? I think you guys all know my choice. Austin, he is him, Reeves. I mean, do I need to go into detail? That's my choice. That's my pick. I'm very passionate about that, and yeah. Kwame, what say you?
Honestly, the Austin Reeves pick is actually a pretty good one. I think Lakers fans worldwide have enough voting power to actually to get him in there. I wouldn't be surprised. So
the
you never know.
Philippines have entered the chat as well.
You know what I'm saying? So, but to be honest, for me, I actually went with one of the larger snubs from the Eastern Conference last year, in Jalen Brunson. I think New York basketball is kind of back. They love the guy. He's been great. Team USA starter. I think he has a really good chance to continue to propel the New York Knicks to be a respectable basketball franchise. So honestly, I got to go with him. I think he'll crack the seal this year. He's a local for Northwest Chicago suburbs, so I got to represent the hometown area. So honestly, I'm really excited for this, and I think Jalen Brunson has a really good chance of making the Eastern Conference All-Star team.
You should have left Team USA out of that, though. He was terrible.
I should have, but hey. Accolades, right? Well, kind of.
Okay, EP.
So I'm kind of split on this, but I'm gonna say Mikal Bridges and Chet Holmgren, and I'm split. I think Bridges for obvious reasons, right? The man's went to the Nets and averaged 27 points a game or some shit like so. And again, like I said earlier, they're one of my sleeper teams because I think Ben Simmons is going to make life a lot easier for him. We saw at the end of last season, he's got a real bag. So I think he's one. I'm pretty certain he's going to be an all-star. Chet Holmgren I picked because I think it was Guru earlier that was talking about the OKC being a really dangerous team and they're up and coming. Chet is nice, and I think we forgot how nice he really is and how much he's gonna like. I wouldn't be surprised if OKC didn't make the playoffs. Like he's nice. Like as good as Shea is, this is a 7-footer that can do Shea shit. Like you know what I'm saying? So I think that he's somebody that's going to throw a lot of people off. Like I think we forgot how nasty he was because he got hurt. Now, granted, he's skinny, so he may not make enough games to. But if he plays a decent amount of games, it would not surprise me at all to see him make an all-star team because I think OKC will have enough success for him to make one.
Guru?
Appreciate it. All right, most likely first all-star appearance. This is going to be a retroactive kind of award for this individual based on what was done in the playoffs. And if you look at the Denver Nuggets bench, they got 3 longshoremen, an IT specialist, and a delivery guy on that bench. Jamal Murray is probably going to go bonkers right now, and he's going to receive some retroactive payment from the league and get his first NBA All-Star appearance.
Okay, Raj, go ahead.
You guys took both of mine. I agree on both of those fronts. I think Mikal Bridges is poised to do that. If you said Ben Simmons getting back to all-star form, I think that's crazy. I think he needs to figure out if he can stay on the floor. Dude played, I think,
for sure.
7. Yeah. He averaged like 7 points a game and looked scared to touch the basketball unless it was in transition. So I'm interested how they do it. I agree on Jamal Murray too. I think I thought he made it already. That dude averaged like 28 a game in the playoffs. I think he'll be just pushed into the All-Star game. I like the Austin Reeves one because this is the Lakers podcast, and I feel like I have not even discussed the Lakers at all. So I'll push the Austin Reeves propaganda, I guess. He should be up around 18 points a game, around 6 and 6 is what I kind of push him at. If you have D'Lo at like 12, the rest of the starters is really Bando, AD, and LeBron, in my opinion. So I like it. Like Austin's gonna get the votes for sure. If the Lakers are the 1 seed, I think they can have 3 All-Stars. AD, LeBron, and Austin. I'll live with that. I'll take Austin Reeves.
You think D'Lo's only going to average 12? That's crazy.
Oh yeah, I guess 12 as well. Like 15. Like 15. Like 15.
Listen, no longer is Austin Reeves an all-star a meme take or a crazy take.
No.
I mean, I shot 44% from 3 in the playoffs. Like Raj said, gave you the rest of the numbers. And so I don't think that's an outlandish take at all.
No.
And we do numbers. So it's a realistic possibility.
Who brought up Jalen Brunson? I think Kwame brought up Jalen Brunson. Austin Reeves is the second best player on Team USA. I was up at 4 a.m. watching all those games. Austin was the second best player on that team. And he was their go-to scorer.
Yep.
And in him, yeah. And Austin was actually one they gave the ball to at end of games and brought the ball up, but Austin was who they were running ball screens for and stuff like that. So there's a world where
Ant was just taking his. Like Austin Reeves actually sets for it.
Yeah, and if Jaren Jackson Jr. showed up, we might have won something. But yeah, he didn't play well either. So
he became a starter in Game 73 of last season. I think people think we've seen his,
right.
We haven't seen his peak. He just became a starter with nine games left in the season.
Okay, so on the heels of that, who will win Most Improved Player? I'm gonna go with Rick.
Most improved player this season. So I had Raj gonna have to help me again, man. What's my man out of Indiana, Benedict Matterdine? Is that how you supposed to say it?
Mathurin.
Yeah, him too. So let me re-say that again. Benedict Mathurin, right? And I think, they're there's rumblings about Buddy Hield's future in Indiana. And I think it's because of this young man and his ascension out of Arizona, famous for saying that LeBron's going to have to, show him that he is, the greatest when they play each other. So, he doesn't lack any confidence. 16 points a game. He gets that 3-point percentage to be in some above 32%. Easily could turn into a 19, 20 point a game score. So I think, Indiana has, they got a step above okay roster, right? I think that, I think that Miles Turner, if he's sticking around, and I'm not going to say anything more about that, if he's sticking around and, Rick Carlisle is another season with the same core, we should see him take another step forward in his game. So even though I can't remember how to say his last name to save my soul, I'm picking Benedict to be a sleeper most improved player. Master Ding.
Okay, EP.
Rui Hachimura is my pick.
Hey.
I think we saw, because if most improved player is a season award, you got to remember what Rui was most of last year before he became a Laker, and even up until the point of his DNP, which is infamous on Lakers Twitter, right? Like, if he continues that ascension, which I'm sure he will, working out with Bron all summer, like, he's going to be a totally different player for the 82 games of this year than he was last year. And if that be the case, you combine that with the platform that the Lakers give him, I almost think he should be a front runner, to be honest with you. Like, I feel like, he got his money. He's been working out with Bron at 7:00 every morning. Like, I almost think, seriously, I think he should be a front runner. Like, if Rui messes around and averages 19 a game, shooting 40 or 30, between 38 and 41% from three, like, you're gonna be really hard pressed to not give him that award, is my opinion.
That was the one part of his game, that, was a little slower to arrive, right? That midi was butter, that turnaround, his spins were beautiful. 3-point shot, right? Was a little up and down with the Lakers. So, and that was one of the things that they said, hey, he's a respectable knockdown 3-point shooter. I think, to your point, if he continues to build on that toolbox, that's a good call. Also, being in the church of LeBron all summer,
right?
I can't wait to unwrap that present.
Yeah, like he's gonna have every opportunity to win that award being a Laker, right? Because he's gonna be front and center. Now, if he wins, that probably crushes the AD for MVP award, because they're not gonna give us all of that, right? But
we're sweeping all the awards.
Yeah, but I'm actually more confident in Rui getting that award than I am AD getting MVP, just because, to be fair, AD's motor may not always allow him to get MVP, but Rui, on the other hand, I feel like should be a front runner for it.
Okay, and Guru?
Well, Rick, when you started talking, I thought you were kind of dipping in my sauce a little bit, but I'm going with another dude from Indiana. And, if you look back at the history of this award, Ja Morant just won this award a couple years ago. Giannis has been, a most improved player before. And I feel like it can go to guys that have kind of already arrived a little bit, but they haven't gone to the next stage. I think Tyrese Halliburton takes the Pacers to the playoffs. He's the engine for that team. We as Laker fans all hate him just because he was getting 15 assists, and laughing while he was doing it. I mean,
it was the fake no-look passes.
I'll never forget that.
It's the fake no looks for me.
Right. I'm right. I'm gonna throw it. So, that dude's game is good. We saw the chemistry in the Olympics in FIBA. I'm sorry, that him and Austin had, and I just think, obviously, both of them are going to come away better because of the experience. And I see him leading that team to probably, like a 7th, 6th seed. I wouldn't be surprised. And I think he gets the nod as the leader and floor general of that team. I'm going with Halliburton.
Okay, so, I have to just say this. I already know you guys are going to look at me crazy for saying this, and it's a long shot. I don't care. But if Vando comes back with a PJ Tucker corner 3 in his bag, I will personally go on a most improved player campaign for him. I just want a little something offensively when he comes back. Just saying, I'm just throwing it out there because I believe in him, and I really do feel like he's going to come back with something on the offensive end that's consistent. Just saying.
So what made you want to bypass making his transition layups and go all the way to the corner
Right.
three?
That's
I
what I was
just want him
thinking.
to have something. I feel like it's feasible.
What
for
happened to
him
catching the ball?
Have a PJ Tucker corner 3 in his bag. That's it.
Can we? Hey,
She said, "Forget the baby steps."
Right. Listen, can the nigga catch the ball before we get to the 3-point line?
We love Vando, though. We love
Hey,
Vando.
we love you,
Let's clean it up.
Vando.
Jeannie's watching.
Yeah,
watching.
man. Yeah, no, Vando good in our book. That's a good call, though, Stace. I like the PJ Tucker comp. Yeah, my brother well, as my man Kwame would say, McDonald's All-American, and we need some of that offensive game to continue to to creep through, shine through, peek through one of the throughs, and we'll be okay. We'll be in good shape.
Okay, so next question. Who will win Rookie of the Year? I'm gonna just wait to see what your answers are before I go in with mine. Omar, who do you think?
I'm going to go with Scoot Henderson. I think he's just going to be that typical dynamic lead guard on a team where he's going to be able to put up a bunch of stats. To go with that, I think he's going to have a lot of highlight reel dunks, plays, all that fun stuff. I'm not too I think my dark horse pick was going to be Chet, but I think Scoot is going to be able to run away with it.
Yeah, I think he's like maybe for me, the obvious choice. What do you think, Kwame?
I'm gonna go with Scoot as well. I agree with Omar. Guru said it earlier. Victor, they're gonna be super ultra mega triple double careful with that guy. So he's not gonna. I don't think he's gonna play enough. Simply, Chet is a solid pick, but again, I think Shea is the real star of that team. So I don't think he's gonna get enough to be the singular star to be big enough for the Rookie of the Year award. I'll be honest. Brandon Miller, I'm not really feeling that either. What are some other guys like Cam Whitmore? Amen Thompson, Sir Thompson, Anthony Black. No, I'm not. I don't really think any of those guys are really gonna stand out. I really got to go with Scoot. He's gonna fill that Dame void, kinda. He's gonna go berserk, put up numbers. He's gonna have highlights. He's gonna show us he's a star. I mean, I think that's really what we're gonna see. He's gonna be one of those guys in the making, and he's gonna have all the opportunity. To my estimation, so I gotta agree, and I'm gonna go with Scoot Henderson on this one.
And Warren.
Just because I'm here for the vitriol, I'll challenge the Scoot pick only in this aspect. Anthony Simons is still there. Shaedon Sharpe is still there. Jeremy Grant is still there and likes to being a number one guy on top of it. And you have DeAndre Ayton saying that he's dominating. So in some ways, I'm worried about Scoot getting his opportunity to kind of run away with it. He's got the talent. He does. I'm not disputing any of that. But I think there's a lot of other young guys in his way that might be trying to steal his shine a little bit too, but it's still a solid pick. Brandon Miller has no shot in hell, no chance. Like there's no chance, fam. It's a done deal. But I will go with Chet only from the aspect of I don't know he'll have these super gaudy numbers, but OKC is going to be one of those teams everybody is watching, so there'll be some narrative there. SGA is that dude, but Josh Giddey is probably the second best player on that team in terms, offensive capability, and he and Chet have been balling out, and he wants to feed Chet the basketball. So I think Chet's going to have opportunity to score, rebound, play defense as well too, and probably get that shine. And I agree with everything y'all said about Wemby as well too. I just think the skinny giraffe falling in the woods or whatever it is, like he's going to have some problems getting his weight up and probably not play enough games on San Antonio's side. So Chet's my pick. I like Scoot number 2 and Wemby probably being number 3.
Okay, fellas. So final question of the night. What is your NBA Finals prediction? Let's see. Let's go with Rick. Let's go with you for the first take for this.
Okay. Yeah, I'm here for the storyline of the season. I think the Bucks with Dame is great. I would love for the Bucks and the Celtics to see each other, or the Bucks and Miami to see each other in the Eastern Conference at one of the rounds. Right. I think the Suns and Denver are going to be really strong teams out west and are going to compete. But at the end of the day, the NBA scriptwriters are going to put together what we all know what we're going to see at the end. And it's going to be a Lakers Celtics clash of the Titans for number 18 in LeBron's 21st season, for him to get number 5. And then what they'll be up there, Doris Burke. I don't know who's on the team. I think it's Doris. She'll be up there asking LeBron, have you decided if you're going to continue to play? And then we'll get, LeBron doing his best LeBron thing and being a little extra. So we're going to have that. I am very looking forward to a very entertaining NBA season, with that being the crescendo in June.
Okay, let's go with Kwame.
I gotta agree, man. I gotta agree with Rick over here. I think it's gonna be a Lakers Celtics final. I think it's the matchup we've all wanted, we've been waiting for, and I think we're gonna get the big battle at the top. I think AD is poised for his first Finals MVP. I think he's gonna absolutely tap Kristaps. So I think that's going to be bad. It's gonna be nasty. I think our team, the depth is just going to be a little overwhelming. I think it's really going to be a solid series. But honestly, I'm going to say the Lakers clean it up 4-2 in the NBA Finals over the Boston Celtics. That's how I see it. As long as the Lakers can stay healthy into the postseason, I don't think there's any reason they don't get out. I think the Celtics have a much harder path to the finals, especially once you kind of get to the top of that Eastern Conference. If they had to have an Eastern Conference Finals against Milwaukee, they're going to be leaving with bumps and bruises. So the Lakers are going to come in and clean up. So that's how I'm seeing it.
Okay, Raj, go ahead.
Yeah, is this a Celtics podcast, man? What are we doing? This is I have Lakers Bucks. I just don't know how you defend. You guys went into the details of that earlier, the Dame Giannis screen roll. You can't have Porzingis in that action. Then it's 35 or 38-year-old Al Horford, or if you just want to go small, I guess, and put, have a small ball lineup. I think they won't be able to guard that. I just have Lakers Bucks. I think Lakers are poised to make a run. LeBron and AD's last kind of hurrah, it feels like, to get to the finals. Lakers in 7, my goal. So,
hey, me and Kwame in the building, we get Lakers Bucks. That should have been my pick just for selfish reasons. So yeah, I like that, Raj.
Yeah.
Okay, EP, go ahead.
I got Lakers Celtics too. I think before the Drew Holiday trade, I would have said Lakers Bucks, but I think the Drew Holiday trade actually swings the pendulum back to Boston in the 7-game series. One thing that we talk about, we talk about the Dame and Giannis pick and roll and how stuff, and that's fine, right? Those are 2 superstar players. You're not going to stop them. But what I challenge people with is how much better did Milwaukee actually get? Like, they got offensively better, but defensively they traded 3 of their best, wing defenders. So I think it's a trade-off. I think Milwaukee's marginally better, and I think they'll close games a little better. But overall, I think they're marginally better. I think Boston, on the other hand, replaced Marcus Smart with probably a better offensive Marcus Smart. And if they can get a healthy Porzingis, he fills a lot of what they needed and what they like to do. And he's the 7-foot version of what they like to do. So I don't know that Milwaukee beats them in a 7-game series with Drew Holiday making life rough on Dame. And I'm not saying Dame's not going to get his off. He will, but Drew's going to make some of that shit hard. So I think Boston comes out of it. I think the Lakers come out of the West. I think the Lakers are just the deepest team in the league. Like, they have 2.5 starting lineups, literally. So I expect Lakers Celtics, and I think Lakers in I want to say 6, but I'll be 7 because Boston's pretty good, man. I hate saying that. Boston's pretty good, but I think Lakers in 7.
Okay, Omar.
So for everything you said, EP, I still go inside with the Bucks. For me, I think rim protection matters and paint production matters a lot in the playoffs. I think as great as Porzingis is, I think Boston will have a difficult time walling up the lanes when Giannis really wants to attack.
Mhm.
So I think Warren did a good job talking about this earlier. But like losing Grant Williams was a huge piece in that. Losing Robert Williams is also another piece that was very important in helping Boston walling up Giannis's driving lanes. And that's what, not this past series, but actually they didn't play. But the year prior when they went 7, I think they did really well limiting Giannis, even though they didn't have Chris. They did a really good job there, and they kind of solved the answer there. I think with Dame, their offensive ceiling goes up, and I think they finally find a way to make it to the finals. And one underrated point that I wanted to make too, Giannis getting booted out in the first round, I think that's extra motivation. It's a big part of his legacy, and I think he needs to understand that. And I think he's very well aware about his legacy and what it meant, what basketball means to him, coming from where he's come from. Growing up, I think that means a lot to him. But I think coming out west, I still go with the Lakers. I agree with everything you guys say, and I got Lakers in 7 against the Bucks.
Okay, Warren.
So I'm gonna call an audible from what I put in the survey. You've made me feel really good about my team here today. So thank you for that. And I'm also going to say the Boston Celtics will make the NBA Finals against your Los Angeles Lakers. One of the things that we have not discussed, while talk about Boston's defense taking a step back, though, the offense is also going to change. We shot a crap ton of threes last year, and that will still be a primary offensive weapon for the Celtics. But Mazzulla realizes they have to post more. They have to post more. Tatum and even Holiday can post, and Porzingis can mid-post as well too. And I think offensively, they're going to be better at getting to their spots and getting easier baskets and not just chucking from 3 every single game, all else fails. Mazzulla is a better coach. Sam Cassell is also on the sideline with this Boston Celtics team as well too. And we also have Charles Lee from the Milwaukee Bucks. So I feel like we might have a little bit of an insight. And I know you people don't put too much credit into that or credence into that. But I think there's some things that we might be able to steal and maybe stop Milwaukee on when we get to the Eastern Conference Finals. And then ultimately, I'll ride with y'all. I wasn't going to pick y'all coming out of the West, but y'all got it. Y'all got it. I don't trust Phoenix to be healthy. I don't trust whatever Memphis has going on. I don't think Denver, as good as they are going to be as good as they were last year, especially with them losing some people. And you do have a really great basketball team. The only thing that I'm worried about from y'all is I think it was EP was saying like, oh, y'all like each other. Will it be that all season long? Because you do have 2 starting lineups, and can everybody play that role all season long? If you hit a 2 or 3 or 4 game losing streak, those are the only things I'm concerned about. But playoff time, y'all should be right there. So it's a long-winded way of saying Celtics, Lakers, but Celtics in 6. Let's go.
All right, Guru.
Stop the count, Warren. Now you were cooking until that last line. All right. It's the why, right? I mean, it's what the people deserve. It's what the universe deserves. Lakers versus Celtics is just different. It always has been. It always will be. My heart wants that. My mind worries about, just full disclosure. I feel the Celtics are the better matchup for the Lakers. So I think I want it for multi-tiered reasons. And I think that's what ends up happening. And here's why. I'm going to give you why I don't think the Bucks make it. Damian Lillard. I'm familiar with your playoff game. Now, he's had some good ones. But Damian Lillard is a killer. He's a regular season killer. He's even a Laker killer. But in the playoffs, he has a history of laying down and playing his role very nicely. I expect the same thing to occur. Kwame's face. Kwame's face. Kwame said, I'm not running with Guru. I think Dame is going to lay down by the time they get to the conference finals. And I think he'll be happy with that. Look, I think he'll be happy to be there. I love Dame. I think he's great. But I think the Celtics are a little bit more ready than what, they kind of have all their chips in on Dame, in my opinion. And I think they fall a little bit short. And I think Boston's experience kind of, they take that leap and take that next step and come on over here and go home with a L.
All right. So lastly, just before we wrap up, I also feel like Lakers, Celtics, but Lakers in 6, respectfully, Warren, for for all the reasons that we've mentioned. And also because I think we do very much deserve this, especially with Winning Time being canceled on the heels of Boston winning.
Hey.
Like, no. So yes, we need this for the culture, for the fan base, for America. So yeah.
For America, fam.
No, I'm with that. Yeah, the propaganda
Yeah,
network
she said
says this
for
is for
America.
America. Right. Yeah.
This is for the
Love it.
USA.
Right.
I gotta say real quick, Raj, it's not big up in Boston. We literally just want them to get there so we can step on the head. That's it. That's
I
it.
got you.
all.
No, that would be miserable for me. I can't imagine losing to Boston in the
Yo,
finals.
Guru, you said Dame was gonna lay down. That's wild.
He did. He said he's gonna roll over and get his
I was
belly
like,
rubbed.
golly.
The big scratch. Man, y'all have been so great tonight. I appreciate everybody sliding through and doing this survey with me, taking the time out of your evenings, y'all. Guru, Raj, EP, Warren, Kwame, Omar, and most importantly, Stace, thank you so much for doing such an amazing job of co-hosting and running through our questions as a moderator. Couldn't have done it without you and couldn't have done it without y'all. So appreciate you guys sliding through. Appreciate y'all rocking with us. That'll do it for this episode of the Late Night Lake Show. On behalf of the Late Night Lake Show family and our friends of the show, we will catch y'all on the timeline. Peace.